Hey, Jason from bohemiabees. Welcome back to the channel. We are on our way to do another cutout. We've done a few more of these lately, just been stacking up. Sometimes we're not able to get to them with our full-time job, so we've got to find days when we can, take a day off or do it on the weekend. But we are en route to someone who's had bees for about a year now, I guess, going in and out of their house. They noticed them, and we're going to get there. And we did an inspection about a week or so ago and confirmed they were honeybees. That's a lot of times half the battle, which is confirming that they are a honeybee nest that needs to be removed and not yellow jackets or something else like that. We don't typically handle those types of bees, wasps, hornets. But so we've got a little coffee, and we've got breakfast, and we are now en route to meet at the client's house to take a look. Should be I believe a FLIR removal, last one I looked at it. So, but we'll take a look, see the best way to get them out. See you there. Okay, so we're at the client's house, and you can see behind me the bees are going in. It's still mid-morning, about 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, and it was raining yesterday, so the bees are out. They probably were in most of the day yesterday, so they're just out, doing some orientation flights, stretching the wings, going out and collecting the, pollen and such. This is where they were going in. You can see on the heat signal, the heat that they just produced, just being living organisms going in and out of that gap. Now, we did try to locate the hive, and you can see a little bit of a heat signal there where I'm pointing now, where I believe to be, but when we go inside, you'll see it pretty clearly where they're at, and we're going to pull them out. This is a hole that was created in a cavity from an electrical socket that went in for a pool. So we have a pool housing over here, and that's really what that cavity, that opening, is what you want to make sure you put that, seal those up, right? Because if you've got an opening inside of a frame of a house or a structure, the bees will find a little hole like that. That's a perfect entrance, right? So when we're all done here, we're going to seal that up, put some, spray foam in there, and just make sure that we, continuously remind the homeowner and others that, little gaps like that and bees that may swarm in the area will find places like that. Now, interestingly enough, we don't know if this is a feral hive or this came from someone's beehive. That's the other thing, is bees will forage up to 3 to 5 miles. Therefore, if there's a cavity like this after a hive gets large enough to swarm, then they'll find it. So let's get inside and let's see what we can do to try to get these bees out of the house. Okay, so back inside, you can see the heat that the bees put out underneath that subfloor. The temperature is just, that's actually the bees and the nest that they create the heats from using this thermal camera. So we know exactly where we need to go in and remove them out. Let's get to work. Okay, so we've removed the carpet in the corner, the padding, kind of pulled it back out of the way. We know the hive, based on the heat signal, is down in this corner down here. So we're gonna go ahead and cut the subfloor, be able to pull that board up, and the comb is probably going to be attached to the bottom of that subfloor. That's what our thought is. So let's take a look. So we've got the hole cut in the floor where we need to access the hive. It's likely right below that board. We've already had a few bees sneak out as we pull it up. So we're going to go ahead and lift that board and see what we see. Make sure we got a good access to where the comb's at. And then we're going to use our Bee Vac to vacuum them up. That'll pull the bees safely inside that vacuum to take them back to the apiary. So let's go. Okay, so we've pulled the board off, and as you can see, it looks like from all the hammering and us trying to get that out of there, the hive sort of dropped. Good news is we found the majority of the location. I see some frames of brood down there. A little concerned that they're everything's kind of broken down, so I'm going to start to pull that out of there as quick as I can to get them framed up to be able to help them out. So let me just dig in and start to do that. Let's talk and we're working.
Sterile to eat?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, okay.
It's the best honey you can have anywhere.
Wow.
As long as you didn't come in here and spray.
No.
I know you didn't, so. Then you're at your own risk if you sprayed your bees.
out, all the comb out. There's a few stragglers that we're going to get. We'll pick up as many as we can. And of course, we got a lot of them that have hung over by the door over here, so we're going to pick those up as well. We're going to close the hole up, clean up some of the honey drippage, and then let them settle in, see if we can get everything packed up and head back to the apiary. Okay, so we're back in the apiary, and we got to get these bees in the box. They've been in the vac for a little while. We've got our brood frames in here, and we've got an empty box that we put on a temporary stand. This is just a cart that we use. It's a pollination cart, actually. We've got one hive on it. I'm going to end up cleaning this thing off shortly. Probably do a video on that if you've never seen a pollination cart before and how it's set up, but you might have seen it in a few other videos, so I have a couple of these. But as far as a cutout and what I do and I set up the colony when I bring it back, as I've shown in the previous videos, I like to put a frame of brood in there to keep them if they're a caught swarm. I'll have these 2 or 3 frames of brood from the cutout, so that checks that box. Hopefully we have a queen that would check that box. Again, the reason why a swarm or a homeless bee colony settles in is if they have what I define as 3 things, which is brood, a queen, and stores. Now, usually their bellies in a swarm, their bellies are full of nectar because they're getting ready to swarm, so that's what they do. So when I catch a swarm, naturally I put a lot of foundation in because the foundation will actually draw out. They'll draw that out very quickly. But for this particular instance, in a cutout, I'm going to put a mix of undrawn and drawn comb, whatever I can, have available. But I will try to put in most of those things that I would to help keep them. Naturally, I'm using my allmybees Bee Vac, so I was very happy with how that worked out today. I have bees in here now, and you can see it's on whisper mode, which is allowing some airflow to still continue through to give the bees air so they're not suffocating in the bucket. But I do got to get them out of this bucket because it is still, getting a little hot sitting here. Bottom line is that this Bee Vac is a little bit different than the Bee Vac you've seen before, where I'm transferring the box in maybe one of my last videos. But you did see in the description, I'm going to put a link to the Bee Vac video that I do that talks about the 2 different types of Bee Vacs that I have. This just happens to be one of the newer ones, and I really like it because it's portable. It's something it's kind of an enhancement to if you're doing a little bit more cutouts than normal. So let's get these bees in a box. Less talking, more working. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to set it down so you can all see what I'm doing, put it in the shade. And then I'm going to open up my box that has the brood in it and a few bees. They are rubber banded up, as you can see. This is what it would look like when I pulled it out and rubber banded it up in the process. So I'm going to slide them in the box. They're usually covered in honey as well. I put a piece of drawn comb between them, right there. One thing you want to make sure when you do a cutout is that if you've ever noticed honeycomb is actually angled down. So it angles down so that the nectar can flow to the back of the cell and before they cap it off. So when you're placing your brood on your frame, it's very critical that you situate the pieces in the direction of the way the comb was hanging. So if you cut out a block like you see here, the combs are still hanging in an angle down because you need to be able to recreate that. Now the bees will reattach all this. In the meantime, I'm just getting it in the colony to help try to save some of that brood. And so like this piece has fallen, so I'm going to slide that up, put a little bit of a rubber band across it to hold it. This has a little bit of a curve to it, so I'll try to center that up. There's some honey up here. They'll attach all that back up and clean it up and give them some resources. Okay, there's a few pieces of brood down in the box down here. I didn't have a chance to frame them up. There weren't a lot that I could frame up, but I'll probably still try to frame that up in another frame here shortly and put that in the box. Let's go ahead and close that, keep them shaded on that, and let's go ahead and get our bees in the box. Okay, so since this is not like my old Bee Vac where I just pick the frames off and put them on, I'm going to actually set a deep box on here. And the reason I do that is so that I can dump the bees in, they don't go pouring over the sides. This is just Let's go ahead and set this up here now so you can see. Oops, sorry. We can turn that off now. Unscrew it. Okay. So in this, we've got a screen tray. If you can see that, all the bees are down inside there, and you can lift it out with these two handles. I'm gonna give it one good tap on the ground, kind of push all the bees at the bottom, pull the lid off, and then dump them in. So let's show you how that goes. All right. See if I spot the queen. Some debris. That's the only difference that I didn't like about a vac like this, other than the other one. My last one will collect up all that debris. The bees clean it up pretty good, so I'm not as much worried about it. And there weren't a lot of dead bees, honestly. I think I'm pulling like one or two out of here. That's a good thing. Just a little bit more debris than I wanted. There's a lot of bees in here now. Let's take a peek inside so you can see. Okay, so you peek down in there. You can see all those bees are now down inside, trying to figure out if this is their new home. Lots of bees flurrying around in the air. We're gonna get them there. Hopefully they're gonna start fanning, saying we got our queen in here, and we're gonna let everyone know where to come back to. So let's go ahead and get these all closed up and settled in. Okay, we've let these girls settle in a bit, and I've just been going through a few of the frames. That's why they're spaced out, and they're working on attaching it. You can see when they hang from the frame like that, they're building comb. They're actually measuring. There's a word for that. I just can't think of it right now. Festooning, I think it's called. And that's really just so they can measure up what they need to do to attach that comb so it's more stable. So that's good. I also did spot something else, which is exciting, on this frame of drawn comb. And let's see if she is still there. I don't see her on this side. We did spot a queen. Don't see her on this side. Love to put my eyes on her again, but I did spot a queen a few moments ago. Well, we were unable to spot her again, but I did catch a glimpse of her when I was going through it initially. So you'll have to take our word for it. And we found a queen. So we've got a successful cutout, another successful cutout, where we've got some frames of brood. We've got, a good amount of bees. They're already at work cleaning up their new home and shoring up that brood comb, and then, naturally orienting to where they're at in their new home to find the new forage, which is really exciting. So, well, there you have it, folks. Another good cutout. We rescued another colony of bees and relocated them here to Bohemia Apiary on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where we can care for them and monitor them and rehabilitate them back into a thriving hive. Or a thriving colony, I should say. Hive is the box they go in, and colony is what's in the box. Well, I guess that's it for today. It's been a long day, a hot day, but we got it done. So remember to subscribe to the channel, like, comment below.
and then hit the alerts button, because hey, you never know, we're going to do another cool video here on the Eastern Shore of Maryland at Bohemia Apiary, where beekeeping is definitely more than a hobby. It's an obsession. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day.